Are you ready to level up your beauty, energy, and wellness? Hi, I'm Elle, and as an intuitive wellness coach, I help women to rediscover natural energy cycles in order to manifest their best lives with ease and flow. To help with this, I've created the Cycle Habits Tracking System, and today we're going to go through my top 10 healthy habits from my most recent cycle that I tracked. So stay tuned for beauty tips, biohacking, and self-improvement practices to get you leveling up your vibe. So, my first healthy habit tip comes from the habit that I do very early in the morning, even before I open my eyes sometimes, and it has to do with meditation, prayer, and affirmations. So, very early in the morning, there's a realm that we can access between the conscious and the subconscious mind when we hit those alpha waves just as we're waking up. And this is like a gateway to the subconscious mind where we can rewrite our beliefs that underpin our thoughts and behaviors that we go about during our day. So, if you're prone to like self sabotaging or staying in your comfort zone or doing things that just are not in alignment with your true heart and soul desires, then you might want to take this up as well. So, you can do this just as you're waking up or even as you're falling asleep at nighttime. And you repeat some self affirming mantras while your mind is blank. Now, I tend to do one that covers all the bases, and it goes something like this: I am healthy, wealthy, happy, and loved. I am safe, protected, and connected to the Creator. Because co creating is a big theme for me. So, in the mornings when I'm doing my affirmations and I'm setting up my intentions for the day, I do some prayer and I ask the Creator to be with me and to co create with me during the day. So, during this time in the morning or at nighttime, when you get that gateway between the subconscious and the conscious mind, between sleep and waking, you can set your intentions and you can do your prayers and your meditations in this alpha state. And it's going to help you to align your subconscious beliefs with your actions and behaviors from your conscious mind. So that's number one. My second healthy habit is to drink citrus water in the morning. So I'm sure you've heard of the practice of drinking lemon water, which is some water, either room temperature or warm water or cool water with a squeeze of lemon in it. Well, I like to do that, but I also like variety. So I call it citrus water because in the winter, when grapefruits and oranges are in season, then I like to use those instead of lemons. Sometimes I'll use a lime in the summer. So it just depends whatever citrus is in season or that I'm in the mood for. I change it up and I have my citrus water in the morning. And I find that that really helps me to get that cleansing going because during the night, your body's working on deep detoxing and cleansing. So to wake up, I try to do it within 30 minutes of waking, and to have that water with a squeeze of citrus in it really helps to cleanse and detox. So that's my second habit that I like to do most mornings. My third healthy habit is to have a green juice in the mornings. Usually, this is a fresh pressed celery juice that I make at home. Sometimes I add some fresh wheatgrass to it, or I might do something a little different like cucumber, apple, lemon, and celery all together. But it's mostly green, whatever I choose. If I'm out and about, I might pick up a green juice from Erewhon, where I know that it's organic and it's bottled in glass. I try to avoid plastic. I know it's pretty unavoidable these days, but if you can avoid plastic as much as possible, it's an endocrine disruptor and it can have an impact on the thyroid function and our hormones. So, really important, especially for women, to minimize plastics in your lifestyle. My fourth healthy habit is to have a smoothie. And I'm sure by now you're noticing that I do liquids till lunch because when I wake up, I do my citrus water, then I try to have a green juice on most days, and then again on most days, I try to have a smoothie. So I usually switch between a heavy metal detox smoothie or a liver rescue smoothie or some kind of collagen glow, skin glowing smoothie. And I don't use collagen powder for this. I use building blocks from plant-based ingredients like cucumbers, spirulina, pears, mint, pineapple, aloe vera, and I mix something up that I feel is really good for the skin. Sometimes, if I'm a little hungrier, I might do a smoothie bowl. So I have the base of an acai bowl or a dragon fruit smoothie, and then I top that with chopped fruit. And I don't use any seeds or nuts for that. I just like to have fruit in the mornings if I can. But I do break this rule at certain phases of my cycle, like the surrender phase, when I'm craving a little more glucose to build my progesterone. And for this, when I'm really craving something a little bit more solid in the morning, I like to have something like oatmeal, or I'll do some cooked up apples with cinnamon and dates, or maybe some a fruit platter or something that has like, a bit more substance to it. Following my smoothie, I like to get some sun. So very often I might go outside with my smoothie and catch some rays. Living in Southern California, we have plenty of good sunlight even throughout the winter. So most days I like to take my smoothie outside into the garden, and I wear a sun hat and sunscreen for protection. And I just spend a few minutes there looking at our herbs and our small veggies in our garden and just kind of enjoying those sun rays on my skin. My sixth healthy habit is to do a facial toning or laser treatment on most days. I like to do either a gua sha facial or a Nira laser treatment, or use my new face microcurrent device. And I tend to rotate between these depending on what I feel like doing or what I feel my skin needs. So if I feel my skin needs moisture, then I'll use the Cora Organics Noni Glow Oil with the Rose Quartz Gua Sha tool, and I'll do like an uplifting gua sha facial, and the Noni Glow absorbs into the skin and it really moisturizes. Or if I'm not doing that, then I have a Nira laser, which I'll do like a quick laser treatment. And this is especially helpful around the eyes. I've seen really good results. The Nira laser I picked up, I think it was last year at the Black Friday sales for a really good price. And I'm really happy with it. And I use it a few times a week, and it really helps to erase like fine lines and wrinkles. So I like to use it in rotation, not every day. I do a new face treatment to lift and firm with the new face microcurrent device, and I swap the device heads to give me different techniques to lift and rejuvenate my face. I like to do this before I make videos or I have some kind of event. I do it maybe like once or twice a week. I don't love to do it because it comes with this gel that I find it's a little cold and clammy. So I try to make this habit enjoyable. I noticed that I was seeing results with the new face, but I was kind of adverse to doing it and just getting started. Once I'm doing it, I love it and I feel great. But it's just taking that first step of knowing that you have to put the cold cream on your face in order to get the microcurrent working. So I made it enjoyable by adding a little shelf under my mirror in the bathroom where I put an iPad so I can watch YouTube videos while I'm doing my new face, because it does take about 10 to 15 minutes and it gets a little boring because you have to hold it kind of slowly and lift your face with it. So I love to use it when I am watching YouTube videos, and I have my essential oils diffusing as well. So it makes it more of like a spa environment. So if you have a habit that you know you're getting results and you know that you want to continue doing, but you just have like a sticking point of not being able to jump in and get started, then I really recommend building some enjoyment around it, adding music, adding something for the five senses. Maybe you're watching something while you're doing it, or listening to some kind of podcast, or maybe you're having essential oils diffuse, or something that you feel is enjoyable. Maybe it's where you're sitting instead of standing, or you're making it comfortable for you, or you're making it a more elevated experience, like bringing a spa feel into it, or something that you really enjoy. My seventh healthy habit is to do Pilates. And this is something that I grew into. I grew to love it. I started with about 5 to 10 minutes on most days, and I knew it was something that I wanted to build into my routine on a long term. So I don't necessarily do it every day. I probably realistically now do it about 3 times a week, and I do a 15 to 20-minute routine of Pilates. There's some teachers that I really like. One of them is Bryony Deary, and she's from London, and she started her Pilates practice during COVID. And now she travels to all beautiful destinations and uploads her videos on the app. So I've done most of her 15 to 20-minute routines, and I love that. And then recently, I've been trying Leah Bartha, who's a Pilates teacher here in the US, and she has the B method, and she uses the Pilates ball. And I find that it's kind of like micro movements, but they're really deeply effective for the body. So I'm liking trying her style, which is again very different. And then sometimes, if I'm feeling a little more active, I might do a 10 to 20 minute exercise program from Melissa Woods. So her app is very good as well. It has such a variety of different workouts. And I just love to keep it to 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes, some kind of ab work, some Pilates, about 3 times a week. At some points, I'll do it daily, maybe for 4 or 5 days. And then I might leave it for a few days and then I'll go back to it. But it's something that I want to do long term. And I don't mind that I skip days as long as it's in my rotation and I keep coming back to it. My eighth healthy habit is to use my PEMF mat along with my LED mask. And here's where we get deep into biohacking. The PEMF mat has pulsations of energy that mimic the grounding of the earth, and it also has amethyst crystals and infrared technology as well. And my infrared journey began when I used to have a walk-in sauna, the kind of sauna where you can watch Netflix and hang out. And I used to use that about 3 nights a week. And it was super effective for detoxing and shedding water weight and very relaxing. And it just felt amazing. However, it had an unwanted effect of drying my hair. So looking back, I probably could have done like an oil treatment in my hair, but I use this sauna 3 times a week. So I probably wouldn't want to have done like an oil treatment that often on my hair. So in any case, when I moved house a few years ago, I got rid of the walk-in sauna and I got a sauna blanket instead. And I went for the higher dose sauna blanket, which I love, and it has a bamboo, um, like a cotton insert, made from bamboo fibers. And I use that about once a week at nighttime, and it helps me to relax and detox. And after I've had such a good experience with the higher dose sauna blanket, I started hearing more about PEMF mats and how they can help to rebalance the body and help your body with its own healing activity. So I looked into this, and especially the way we live today is so disconnected from the earth that although I try to walk, once a week on the beach to get some grounding and earthing energy, I felt like having that PEMF mat in my home to have those grounding energies available to me was something that I really wanted to do. So I use my PEMF mat for about 20 minutes. It has a 20-minute setting where you choose your level of pulses that mimic the Earth's energies. It also has the layer of amethyst crystal and the heating clay. And I love that you can set the heating. So in summer, you can have no heat, or in winter, you can put it up a few notches and get some really nice, nurturing heat coming through on the mat, and feeling really grounded. So what I do is I lie down, and this is like after the work day. On most days, I do this when I'm feeling like I'm busy with doing so much and meeting and having lots of activity happen. So while I'm there, I'm going to do some habit stacking. And by the way, you can read all about habit stacking in my Cycle Habits book, along with some examples to give you of ideas for habit stacking. So what I normally do while I'm on my PEMF mat is I put on my Omnilux LED face mask, which has a 10-minute timer. So I invested in this face mask again a couple of years ago on Black Friday, when I always, buy my devices at deep discounts. And I found that it's been quite remarkable for what it is. You wouldn't think that some LEDs on your skin would really make that much difference, but the Omnilux LED is kind of clinical grade. It's the LED that's used in clinics, and it's really effective. And I was kind of blown away by how effective it was. So I try to use this a few times a week. I don't always get to use it every single day, but it's on my rotation. So whenever I'm lying down on my PEMF mat, I'm using my LED mask. And I also this year added to my collection of devices, and as well as the LED face mask, I now have the neck and chest mask. So instead of going with the Omnilux, this time I went with the higher dose LED neck and chest mask because the neck part of it just kind of stretches around the back of the neck, which I find is probably going to be more helpful for lifting as well. And it's larger on the chest area. So when I'm lying down, I put both of those LED masks on, my neck and chest mask from Higher Dose, and then my face mask from Omnilux. And I lie down on this warmth of the PEMF mat. So as I'm there doing my beautifying routine, I do some deep breathing. And here's where I do kind of my second meditative session for the day. After I wake up and I do my meditations and prayer and affirmations, then, towards the end of the day, when I do this routine, then again do some deep breathing and it's very meditative and I say my affirmations again. So, depending on how many times I do this habit, then some days I could be going into a meditative state twice, once in the morning and then once when I get on my PEMF mat. And what I do is I just breathe deep. I imagine my manifestations coming to reality, that there's positive things happening in my life. I say my mantras and I just relax into that restorative place in my body so my nervous system can get a break. If I've suffered any kind of fight or flight experiences during the day, any panic, any kind of last minute urgent things that happen that put me into a bit of a panic mode, then this allows me to recharge and de-stress. And recently, I have become an affiliate for HeartMath. And so now I have the HeartMath device. So I hook the little heart monitor onto my ear as I'm lying down on my mat, and I follow their guided meditations on the HeartMath app. So, usually after 10 minutes, when my mask is done, my LED mask, I take that off and then I will clip my heart math device on and I'll just measure my heart rate. And I'll open their app and I'll do a guided meditation that gets me into coherence with my heart. And this has many benefits. You can read about it on the HeartMath website about heart coherence and just practicing how you can get more balanced and into that love and that heart and that intuitive space and not always be coming from your mind. So I love this little habit and it doesn't always happen daily, but I put it in my rotation and I try to do it as much as possible. My ninth healthy habit is to do cardio or take a sauna. So, as you've probably heard, it's really healthy to sweat each day, either through exercise or some kind of heat like a sauna. So, I don't always do cardio every day because I take intentional breaks around my attune phase, allowing my body to rest and align with my hormonal cycle. But on days that I don't want to do cardio, I try to do a sauna. So, at least I'm getting that detox and sweating it out. When I do cardio, I use my Echelon bike, which is like a Peloton indoor spinning cycling bike. And I jump on that and I do around 40 to 45 minutes as I'm watching my favorite show on TV. So, as I said, if you're finding that you have resistance with a habit and you know that it's a healthy habit and it's something that you really want to have in your rotation, build some enjoyment around it. So, although I started on my spinning bike with taking the classes that kind of come on the screen of the bike, I soon got kind of weary of that because it just felt like it was really hard work. So now that I've got into a sequence of going faster and slower on the bike and getting into a routine where I know what I'm doing and I've had some instruction. Now I don't watch the instruction videos and I've shifted to watching something on TV that I really enjoy so that I'm getting my cycling in and I kind of train myself to know what I'm doing, but I don't have to watch the instructional videos anymore. So that's what I would recommend if you're having trouble, like, getting on the treadmill or getting on a spinning bike and keeping up with it, is to just watch a TV show for 40 minutes and as soon as you know it, your workout will be done. So that's what I do. And as I'm on my bike, I also wear wrist weights as well to keep my arms active as I'm cycling. So it's more of a full body workout that I do. Now, I don't count this as cardio, but I do want to mention that I do walk almost every day on a treadmill. I have an elevated desk with a treadmill underneath. So while I'm working on my computer, I'm usually walking at a really slow pace just to get some steps in. I feel that it's really important to incorporate movement in your day as much as possible rather than sitting for long hours. So I do walk on my treadmill, and if at any time, at any day, I feel like I want to sit down, I just click the button on my desk and it goes down to a normal desk height, and I put a chair there and I sit down. So I definitely take advantage of that flexibility, and I do, walking while I'm working at my desk as much as I can. And then when I feel like I need to sit down, I just sit down, and there's no guilt, there's no stress. I allow my body to rest whenever I want to. So usually during my awaken phase, I'm doing more walking and cardio and exercise. And then when I'm in my attune phase, I'm doing more resting and dipping in and out of walking if I feel like it, or walking just for a little while during the day and then sitting down for the rest of the day. So definitely build in flexibility to your habits. You don't need to be so inflexible about them. I don't think daily habits are really designed for women. I think we need to give ourselves grace with our habits and work with our cycles. My 10th healthy habit is dry body brushing, and I do this most nights. I know it's more associated with mornings because it's very invigorating, and I definitely recommend it for mornings. However, it just kind of fits into my schedule better at nighttime before my nightly shower. So I set up a little spa-like section in my bathroom dedicated to my dry brushing, and also I have a variety of different wooden tools for self-massage. So I collect them all. I bought a little rack to hang my dry brushes on, and I just have that section there where I brush kind of slowly, not like too invigorating because it is nighttime. And I use my wooden self-massage tools, and I just give myself that little movement before my shower. Again, just to keep the lymph flowing and your body moving. I think it's really helpful for detoxing. So I do that every night, and I create, like some enjoyment around it in the way that I decorated my bathroom to have that section that's a visual reminder for me every time I walk in before I jump into the shower while I'm waiting for the water to heat up. I see it there and I think, okay, I've got to do my dry brushing. So this is something that's pretty easy for me to keep up with daily, as in the citrus water as well. These are two habits, drinking water in the morning and dry brushing before a nightly shower, that I find it really easy to keep on almost a daily level. The only reason I would skip them with the dry brushing is if maybe I'm feeling sensitive, my skin is feeling sensitive. If I'm in my attune phase, I might skip dry brushing or do it a little bit softer, or just do it for a minute or two and not do a longer session. So otherwise, I tend to do it nightly. So wherever possible, you want to make sure that your healthy habits are easy to do and fun to do. So you want to build systems around them to make them easy. You visually see them, or there's a system to make it really easy for you to take ingredients and put them into your blender for your smoothie, for instance. With my heavy metal detox smoothie, it requires a lot of various ingredients and fresh ingredients. I have the spirulina and the barley grass juice powder. And what I did was I bought some little sugar dispenser containers to keep them inside the fridge. So I literally just kind of pour them into my smoothie rather than opening a container and scooping something out. Just anything I can do to shorten the steps to make my daily habits as easy to do, as fun to do, as inspiring to do as I can. Then I go ahead and I put the intention and the energy into building these systems around them to making them more enjoyable and more inspiring. So I actually guide you through a brainstorm on how to put some of these enjoyable systems together for your habits in the Cycle Habit book as well. So you'll find lots of good information in there to really guide you through how to choose what your healthy habits are, how to align them to each phase of your cycle, and then how to track them. Again, giving yourself grace as you want to align with your cycle and take up the habits that feel right during the phase that you're in, and maybe skip a day or two of the habits that are not in line with your energy for those phases. So I talk a lot more about this in the book. So I hope you will go ahead and get the Cycle Habits tracking book and start creating and tracking your healthy habits to serve you for a long time to come. Here's an example of how I tracked my healthy habits for my previous cycle, which was in November and December of this year. So I actually used the Good Notes app on my computer to track my cycle, and I can upload the PDF from the Cycle Habits book and use the tracker inside the Good Notes app. If you want to print out the Cycle Habits tracker, of course, you can do that, and you can mark off each of your habits with like a planner marker, colorful markers, however you want to do it and make it fun for you. I love the Good Notes software. I'm going to show you an example of the habits that I tracked over my cycle, which happened to be 27 days. So here you see I use the highlighter tool in Good Notes, and I choose the color that I like. I align these colors with my brand colors, which I love. So you can use happy colors, and I can fill in like a little dot of the highlighter. And if I need to erase it, I use that eraser tool there, and I just hover over and erase it. And I just put one dot from the highlighter, and I change colors depending on the habit that I'm tracking. And I just take a couple of seconds each day to run through. Either as I do my habits, I fill them in, or I do them, during the end of the day when I think about it. I use the text function in the Good Notes to write my habits in. So when you get your habit tracker, cycle habits tracker, it will come blank under the cycle habits heading, and you will just add in what your particular personal habits are. So there you can see I'm writing meditation, I'm writing prayer. You can just add in whatever your habits are. It comes without any habits so that you get to tailor them for yourself. And in the middle there, you can write the dates of your cycle, or you can write the moon cycle, or you can even track it over a month, a calendar month. However, I really recommend following the moon cycle. And here you can see a tune phase. This is the first few phases of your cycle. And I've written a tune there just to remind you that this is tuning in, it's resting, it's getting in touch with the divine, and you're moving along to the awaken phase as you're gaining more strength and energy, either with the moon cycle or with your personal cycle. And then you go into the thrive phase, which is aligned with ovulation or a full moon. And then you're circling back into the beginning of the cycle via the surrender phase, which is where you're letting go more and beginning to rest. If you're following your personal cycle, you're building progesterone and leaning into some, heavier foods and changing your diet, perhaps, and your exercise to sync with your cycle. So there you have it. You can see, actually, if you notice that certain habits I tracked, I skipped days during the attune phase. So the first 2 days of attune, when I started my cycle, you can see that I skipped doing any cardio. I actually didn't even do any body brushing. I was probably feeling sensitive to light, so I didn't do my LED mask that day. I literally just did my morning prayers and affirmations and meditations. I did my citrus water. I skipped my green juice and smoothie because it seems to like take a lot of time, and any way that I can make my 2 restful days more efficient and more restful, I do. So I actually drink coconut water during these days when I feel like I just want to minimize my schedule and I don't want to be running around doing too many things. I don't want to be making things in the kitchen necessarily. So you can see I skipped those habits. I skipped my facials and I skipped Pilates. I actually did my PEMF and LED on the second day of my cycle. So then I started to gain more energy. I was feeling less sensitive and I was getting, more energy in my cycle. So as you move into the between the attune and awaken stage, you can see that my habits picked up and I'm almost, daily with a lot of them. And I'm doing more of the cardio. If you look at the cardio line, you can see that throughout the awaken and thrive phase, I might miss a day because I'm busy out doing something else. But I'm pretty good with my cardio on the days that I have a lot of energy. So you can have that kind of foresight to see that although you're feeling maybe out of sorts during your attune phase and you just want to rest, you don't have to give up on your goals. You don't have to feel like a failure. You don't have to feel guilty. You can have trust in the cycle that your energy is going to pick up again with the follicular phase or the waxing moon, whatever you're aligning with, and know that you're going to have energy just around the corner, just as spring follows winter. So you can see during the awaken stage, you can actually plan to do more vigorous exercises. So if you're going to a studio somewhere or you're meeting up with friends and you want to do some, hiking or some kind of exercise class, you can start planning it according to your cycle phases, trusting that you're going to have more energy around you during that, awaken stage where everything's elevating. And then on the opposite side of the coin, we have the surrender phase. And here you can see I was doing a lot less cardio. I was making a lot less smoothies and green juices and kind of like going into that cocooning phase and hibernating phase and not wanting to like do unnecessary things. So I think if the majority of your um, time, your schedule, your cycle, your routine is based on healthy habits, and you are doing things like having your green juices and getting some movement in your day, then you don't have to feel guilty when you take a couple of days rest or a few days rest. And you can see here also that my cycle was 27 days. So I give you space to plan out 31 days. Usually a moon cycle is around 29 days. If you want to go by, if your personal cycle goes longer than 28 days, then you have a few more days to fill in here as well. So that's the overview. I try to make it fun. I try to make it, really inspiring and just, being able to track these habits to make them easy to do, to make them fun to do. It's really a huge part of how you can level up. And you can level up your internal energy, your vibration, and it also has an effect on your external energy and your beauty and attraction. So, leveling up is really a mind, body, soul venture. And it's just amazing to be able to incorporate these healthy habits in a way that you don't have to force yourself to do something every day. And you can just know that you're putting them in rotation in your life in a way that suits you. So I really hope that you will benefit from this cycle habits tracker. I designed it for you. I tested it myself. My message for women is that you don't have to grind and hustle and do things every day in order to see magnificent results in your life. You can take it with ease and flow. You can make it enjoyable. You can make it inspiring. And you can get those healthy habits happening in your life. If you skip a day, it's not the end of the world. You just continue with it and you put them in rotation. And in that way, you just keep elevating. They do have a compounding effect, even though you're not doing them every day. And you will see results. And it's just going to give you that beautiful radiance and elevate your vibe. So I'm so happy to share this with you. I hope you will enjoy Cycle Habits Tracker and go ahead and download it. You can go to cyclehabits.com. And I'd love to hear from you on your experience with tracking your personal cycle or the moon cycle or the monthly cycle, and let me know how it goes for you. Thank you for joining me today. Wishing you the best of health, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more wellness tips.